pointing at you.
I know. Like we're on a television show. And 3, 2. Yeah. How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
I'm so good.
All right.
I've got clean teeth.
Congrats.
Yeah. My
no problems,
gums
no
are
issues?
healthy. No recession.
He couldn't tell that you've been finishing off rolls of Ritz crackers and chocolate ice cream at 11 o'clock at night.
What are you talking about? I had like 7 Ritz crackers the other day.
Oh, you counted them out? 7?
Well, I'm sure maybe 8.
Hey, listen.
And you. Okay.
Oh, I don't have any room to talk. I live in a very small corner.
I can't remember what was going on because I typically.
You're a night eater, though.
I have been a night eater. I've tried really hard the past year and a half to stop eating after 7.
Yeah.
But can't remember what it was. I stress eat.
Yeah, we all do.
Something was going on, and I was working on something, and I was just like, so I found like a roll of why do I have to explain myself to you?
I don't know, but
well, I'll tell you why I have to explain myself to you.
They're delicious.
These roll of Ritz buttery. Oh, so good.
So good.
And I'm like, I'm just gonna eat those. So I finish them off. You come out of the bedroom.
I see the empty
roll.
roll.
And you see the empty roll, and you automatically make this assumption
slob.
that I ate the entire sleeve. The entire, no, and I had 7 or 8 with a glass of water.
Right. No, I think you declared this morning, you're like, all right, that's it. No more crap at night.
I shouldn't say you.
Well, what is my fault? Yeah, you're going to turn it on me.
We've
gotten out of sync.
We've gotten out of sync.
With our good routines of food.
We started buying ice cream again.
Ugh, no more.
And nobody in our house has any control when it comes to ice cream. None of us. To the point of, I let Sloan have some ice cream the other night before she went to bed.
Yeah.
And Sloan being Sloan,
yeah,
she manages to spill the ice cream on
everything.
Her, on the couch. I put her to bed. I go up and I'm kind of straightening up the kitchen, and I look on the cupboard and there's chocolate all over the cupboard. So I clean it up, right?
Yeah.
I clean it up. The next day, after school, after work, I come home and we're all in the kitchen, and I look over on that cupboard and there's chocolate back. Yeah. And I'm like, did you eat chocolate? Did you have more ice cream? And she's like, no. And you said you sided with, you're like, no, she didn't. I made snacks for her.
And I made after-school snacks for her, yeah.
And so I'm like, I must have missed this spot, even though it was the exact same spot I had cleaned up. The next morning, I don't want to make a short story long.
Right.
The next morning, we're going to the school bus, Sloan and I. She puts on her jacket, and on her jacket that she had worn after school, it is covered in chocolate ice cream. And I'm like, aha! I said, you came home from school yesterday and had ice cream, didn't you? She's like, I had a scoop. I had just had one scoop. And I'm like, but Sloan, I asked you if you had some. She's like, I just had 2 scoops.
Yeah.
It was just 2 scoops. So she's automatically increasing the number of scoops.
Right. And I had made her a snack before I left for my appointment.
So we got to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. Here's the thing, and if I'm good for like a week on my eating, I don't Jones for it as hard. It's when I've had it and then the next day I'm like, oh, I need some cake, cookies.
Yeah, no, I think that's typically the way it is, because I've been the same way. You rationalize with yourself because you're like,
it's terrible.
I cheated yesterday, so today's not going to hurt because tomorrow I'm going to get back in sync.
Totally. I do it every night.
Yeah.
Every night. So last night I ate the Java chip ice cream and then I gave the rest to Quinn. But so the carton's gone. So there's no more ice cream or cookies in our house.
Okay, good.
You know what is in our house still? An enormous jar of Nutella.
I don't have a problem with that.
I do.
That's on you. I have no problem with the Nutella.
So I got to be good. I'm getting home late tonight, so I just need to be like dinner and bed. All right. Nobody needs to hear our internal conversations.
What do you think this podcast is?
I know, that's true. All right. Well, let's, the biggest news in the last 24 hours that has me, as Quinn would say,
shook.
I'm completely shook.
Yeah.
I'm not woke, but I'm shook. I was already woke, maybe. I don't know. But I'm shook. And this college bribery, it's called Varsity
Blues, Operation Varsity Blues. That's what the FBI was calling the year-long operation.
Oh, so they've been researching it for...
Oh yeah, no. They've been working on this for some time.
Oh.
They had the code name for it because it's super cool to give things code names. So it was code name Operation Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been like probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then they finally got the orchestrator all of it, cornered him.
He sang like a canary.
He sang, yep. And then yesterday, I guess it was yesterday, where they went in and they arrested all of these different people, including some celebrities.
Yeah, they arrested at gunpoint. I don't know. I've read several different articles now because I fell down a deep hole yesterday.
What I saw of Felicity Huffman, when she was arrested, it was a swarm of FBI officers who actually had their guns drawn.
Yeah, why?
I don't know if that's protocol. If you're swooping in to somebody's house that way to arrest them, maybe for their protection. Because if somebody were coming into my house and I didn't know who they were, I'd get my baseball bat ready and I'd be ready. But if I saw guns, I'd be like, I'm good.
Knock on the door like a normal police officer and go.
Well,
hi.
I think Operation Varsity Blues calls for the use of force in that way. It makes it even cooler.
I was all over social media yesterday too, and there was a couple of celebrities that said, I think it was needed with her, which was interesting. I don't know anything about her. So
you're talking about Felicity Huffman?
Yeah.
And you don't know anything about her? You haven't fallen into a Felicity Huffman, I don't know.
No, I was a big Desperate Housewives fan for the first few years when it was good.
Before it jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Tornado.
And so I used to watch that. And then they put out a warrant for Lori Loughlin's arrest and her husband. So they didn't arrest William H. Macy, but...
They didn't have anything on him.
Yeah, but they did say that they had recordings. So whoever was singing like a canary had enough.
It was that guy. It was the main guy who orchestrated it.
Okay, but so here's the weird thing. I have so many questions. We're not going to get into all of them. But he had enough forethought or ethical, moral compass that he decided to record them because they were recorded.
I'm sure. I think it always comes down to this. He did that for his own protection because he can turn that over and his sentencing gets lessened.
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably knew it, thinking I'm gonna get away with this, but in case I don't. I'm not gonna go down alone. And so he's gonna bring everybody down with it. It's the way all those people work.
Here's the other thing. So I think everybody probably knows the premise by now, but they paid through a fake foundation, a nonprofit.
Yeah.
They paid money to as a bribe for this guy who did the whole thing, orchestrated the whole thing. He did a few different things. He would either send you through the athletic department of the college that you wanted your child to go to, and they would fake an athletic recruitment situation. So for Lori Loughlin's two daughters, they faked crew recruitment and they became two of the crew recruitment students for USC to the point where Massimo, who Lori Loughlin is married to, was sending pictures of the girls exercising on rowing machines, and I think they were photoshopped into some team crew photos and things like that.
Why would you spend it? Why don't you just go down somewhere and put them in a boat and be like, pretend like you're rowing?
I don't know.
Or maybe the kids weren't into it. Maybe they didn't know they weren't in on it.
They truly believe that none of the kids knew.
Okay. Which makes it even worse. Well,
no, I think it makes it much better. They didn't get their kids involved. And you shouldn't.
Sure. Okay. I see your point. Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like ruin a child at that point. They were minors, I'm sure. And then so Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy's older daughter, they and the weird thing is, so Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy only paid $15,000, and Lori Loughlin and Massimo paid $500,000.
Right.
Which is so. I would be pissed if I was Lori figuring that out now. Like, what the hell? But
they went about it different ways.
Different ways. So they went through the way where the guy had paid a proctor. So first of all, they allowed Felicity Huffman's daughter double the time to take her SATs. And then when they were done, they had a proctor go in and correct some of her answers, upping her score by 400 points on her SATs. So anyway, it's bananas. I've thought a lot about this. I think I would do a lot of shady shit for my kids, but that's not a thing I would do.
Hold on. What shady stuff would you do?
As I've always said, my grandmother had always said growing up, I love you so much. If you killed someone, I would help you hide the body and I would deny it, that I knew anything about it. And I probably would. If my child killed someone, it depends on the situation, right? But I would never.
So murder, you're okay with. Cheating to get somebody into a university, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
It depends on the situation. But
so there's some weird standards you've got.
I never claimed I had normal standards. But here's the thing. So I think your answer, I mean, I don't want to just say, well, would you ever do this? Because you'd go, no, absolutely not. I'm a straight-laced kind of guy.
Mike, okay, here's my question. What is the difference between obviously it sounds like the Mozimo and the Lori Loughlin, which I actually think is pronounced Lowlin.
Whatever. Okay. For 100 years, everyone's been calling her Loughlin.
She's never corrected it, but I think it's actually Lowlin. Anyway, they knew what they were doing. They were completely in on this. So what's the difference between what they're doing, which is basically paying to make sure that their kid gets placed into the university that they want them to go into?
Yeah.
Or those people who are able to drop a couple $100,000 as a donation to universities to make sure their kid gets entry into it, because that happens all the time.
Absolutely,
you become the big donor.
Yeah,
your kid rises to the top of that acceptance list.
I don't think.
What is the difference?
I don't think there is a difference. Well, the other thing that you probably know this, like if you went to, let's just say you went to the University of Washington and you were in a certain fraternity and then your son came up through there, he has a much, much, much better chance of getting into the university and getting into the fraternity than a child who doesn't have any connections. So I don't think there is a difference other than...
And if you're continuing to support the cause.
Financially support.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a difference other than one is legal and one is not. I wouldn't have done it the way they did it, only because...
How would you have done it?
I would have done it the legal way. I would have donated money the legal way. And here's what I know. Like, we know people, you may not know this because I talk to many more people than you do socially. But just so you know, we know people who have reached out and networked on behalf of their child for college, sorority, fraternity.
Sure. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I was thinking, well, how far... I would never do what they did, not because, well, I guess because it's illegal, but that's not my, it would not, it does the opposite of benefit my child. If they could not get their own shit together enough to get into USC, why am I faking it?
Right. Yeah. No, I
It doesn't. So then how are they going to keep up on their schoolwork and everything else?
They pay for that too.
Well, that's what I think has been happening because with the Lori Loughlin, I'm going to call her that. Her daughter is a vlogger and was talking about how she was going to miss the most of like fall quarter because she was going to be in like South Africa or something for some sort of media thing. And I'm like, so you're just going to pay for her to get through school. But okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think that there are very successful college athletes that slide too?
No, I think that happens all the time. And you hear about it occasionally.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's where...
Are you nervous right now?
That's where... No.
Okay.
I'm on a really rickety chair.
No, you're bouncing up and down. Can you stop fidgeting?
No.
Okay. But you think it happens with athletes?
I think it happens. It's covered up quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think about those football kids that are constantly traveling to go play games and stuff. I mean, it was hard enough to get through college. I barely made it. And I wasn't playing semi-professional football. So
you weren't?
No, I don't understand. Well, that was going to be my other question. How many more of these are going to come out now? Operation Varsity Blues is not the only bribing technique that's been going on for colleges. I guarantee it.
Right.
As Dr. Phil has always said, if you smell a rat, there's 50. So
is that what he says?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's so fascinating But like what I just don't understand is how you get so far into the mindset that you're willing, your kid has not done anything. I mean, your kid has not made any sort of effort to get into that school, or let's say they did and they didn't, and you're willing to pay to get them into that school. I don't have any school out there that I am that passionate about getting my child into. They got to do it on their own. Like, I'm not doing them any services.
They live in a different world than most people. They live in a world where money is power.
But so they're thinking they're just going to pay their child's way through their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they have so far. They have.
Because that would be my biggest fear is like, okay, so I'm going to pay to get them through this college, but then what? I can't pay to get them a successful career, but I guess they could. They're just going to like pay. It's just weird to me. I'm not that passionate about college.
I think what they're paying because you're not talking about the University of Washington, or you're not talking about Oregon State. You're talking about USC, which has one of the prestigious film schools.
Yeah.
You're talking about Yale was brought up in this thing. They're
Where does Felicity Huffman's daughter go?
I don't know. It might have been Yale. Wherever. I don't know.
Yeah, wherever she went.
Yeah, but you're talking about higher end, higher education, harder to get into schools where powerful people also send their kids. But that's what they're paying for. They're paying to get them in there to have that access so that they're hobnobbing with other people who have paid their kids to get in there, or people of power who are in those schools.
Right. I guess but maybe I'm naive. Like, going to Yale doesn't mean that you're going to have a successful career.
Yeah, but
the chances are better.
When you see somebody who's got Yale degree on their thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a different level.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get hired quicker than somebody that came out of a community college or came out of even just a state school.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But
it
just
doesn't mean it should happen that way. But that's the way it happens.
I guess I don't think I teach my kids what's gonna make the difference is your drive, your commitment, your passion, your determination to do whatever you want to do. Right. Like, regardless of the schooling you've had or anything.
Even without schooling.
Right.
And you and I don't think we argue about this, but like, I think there is an overemphasis on college degrees because this idea that you come out with a degree, you're guaranteed a job.
No.
You're going to make $1 bajillion. Where if you decide to go a different route, go into a trade, you can make just as much money, maybe even more, and not have all that crazy debt.
Yeah. Well, talking to my parents' financial advisor, remember he was saying he thinks the way it's going to go now is you may or may not get some, initial after high school schooling, but then you'll go into some sort of industry or field, and they will then ask you to go get this specialized education or certification, and that's how it will probably start to go. Because there's a ton of kids out there that have liberal arts degrees who paid a ton of money for college.
I'm not pointing at you.
Right. And who paid a ton of money for college, and now they're paying back these enormous student loans nickel by nickel because they haven't been able to find you can't. I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Where you come, I don't think it ever existed. But these kids pay so much in school, and that they assume they're going to come out and start making $50,000 immediately and start paying off those loans, which it just doesn't happen.
I think they're expecting to make more than that.
They are, actually. They are. You're right. I mean, I've had those early 20s come in and tell me how much they want in salary, and I'm like, it's not here. I don't know where it's at, but you are entry level, coming out of college with no experience. I am not paying you what you think you are worth, because you're not right now. Anyway, it's just interesting. The other side of it, I also thought, is that they're probably doing this also for. Am I boring you right now?
No, I'm checking my notes.
Okay.
It was a long time on one subject.
I know. I think that they're keeping up with appearances. That's it. That's all I'll say. I think that there's some sort of like superficial, like, well, my kids go here type thing too.
Oh, that's exactly what's going on.
A Hollywood type thing.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Done.
You're too observant of what I'm doing over here.
You're fidgeting. You're on your phone.
I'm looking at my notes.
I'm talking to the wall.
I don't get a computer.
You could have a computer. I brought in my laptop.
Don't you have another subject?
No, don't you?
I got notes, but I can't understand them.
Okay, all right, I'll go. Oh my God. Okay, we've been watching this lately. You got to tell me what your thoughts are. And I don't know. I'm feeling very passionate. So the local news coverage the last couple of days has run this same story like 3 times. I've seen it on the TV 3 times. They're going around to people in the community going, look at these cannabis candies, these cannabis edibles.
Right.
They look just like children's candy. And then they're going out and polling people and going, which one is it? Is it cannabis or candy? And
it's a legit question.
As I have told our children who always get spooked at Halloween that somebody's going to slip some weed into their candy.
Right.
I've been like, weed is too expensive for people to just prank a child with it.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
I know your point on this. And I think for the most part, what you're saying is true. That like if you're spending that amount of money on an edible.
Yeah.
That you're not
gonna laissez-faire leave it around the house.
But you're talking about somebody like you,
right?
Who
I'll never do it again.
Okay,
and there's a lot of reasons behind that.
Okay, but
someone like me,
somebody
in suburbia,
somebody who's responsible. That it's just like.
But I think that's a big, huge portion of their clientele.
Maybe, but then there are some people who are kind of more willy-nilly about it. Who might be a little more irresponsible because you hear about it all the time, and I'm probably going.
You don't hear about it all the time. You hear about it.
Well, you hear about the people who are on harder stuff.
Their baby has ingested cocaine because they left it on the microwave,
and they're like they're like true addicts.
Yes,
they're crazy, super irresponsible.
Do you think the hardcore addicts are buying the green and white mint-looking cannabis edibles?
Maybe. I mean,
maybe they are.
They might be just like, hey, let's switch it up. Leave it out on the counter
because we're crazy.
So little Timmy can have some.
Maybe. I just think it's hard to believe.
Okay, what month is it?
March.
It's March. When is TV sweeps? Isn't it February, March?
It's Feb, May, and then fall.
Okay, so we're not even because that typically,
that would be a sweeps.
Because normally program. February, May, and then September, October.
Yeah,
that's when you start seeing the stories on TV like your plates are killing you.
Yes, totally. We've seen that story. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's clickbait. It's clickbait television. It's what they do, and it's topical because in Washington and in Oregon you can buy edibles. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just one of those things. It gets people.
It gets me. It gets me
dumb
riled
people
up.
Talking about it.
Yeah. I just think it's ridiculous. Like I said. You're right. There are those crazy, stupid people out there that might leave it hanging around, but no one I know that takes edibles leaves their stuff out willy-nilly for anybody to see.
Right.
Because it's expensive.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I think you've been in the media business long enough to know, like, it's
like an entertaining thing for them to do.
It's clickbait. TV has been doing clickbait.
Sloan was like scared. She was like, "Oh my gosh, those look just like." And I'm like, "Sloan,
well,
again,
then good.
No one is going to leave candy.
I don't want if she stays off candy and the pot. I'm okay. We've succeeded. This is all good. There's no downside to this. She doesn't want candy. She doesn't want pot. Let's hang it up.
We're done. She can move out.
She can move on, and we can pay somebody $500,000, and she can go to college.
Right, exactly,
and then pay for college.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, no, it's clickbait, and it's the old TV trick they've been doing forever. I mean, even in the radio side of stuff, we try to find the hook to suck you in, and they've been able to do it with Randi and Candy Pot.
It's been so irritating.
Yeah.
But oh well. So lately, we've been like, we go out to eat, and this just like popped in my head because it's actually, I was at lunch yesterday and this happened.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a restaurant etiquette question for you.
All right.
When you are at wherever, at a restaurant eating lunch, dinner, whatever,
yes.
what have you, and so on and so forth.
I'm closing my eyes, envisioning.
Okay.
What kind of restaurant is it?
I don't care. And we were at
Is
Yard
it like a Red
I
Robin?
was for
like
lunch
an
yesterday
Applebee's?
with Kelsey and Danny and Caitlin. I was at Yard House.
Yes.
For one final hurrah.
Okay.
And
oh, yeah. We mentioned last time you're starting a new job next week.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think I said that.
I live with you, so I assumed you.
I didn't say it publicly. I've said it behind,
closed doors.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so we
had lunch one last hurrah.
Right.
Okay, so when the service staff comes up to fill your water or like drop utensils off, do you stop talking? Do you stop your conversation that you're having?
Should you or do you?
Should you? While they're pouring the water on all 4 of your drinks, do you just pause?
I don't think you do.
You keep talking.
However,
is that rude?
However, I think there should be some sort of acknowledgement. You can be like,
you don't say thank you every time.
I do when I try to. But if I'm like middle of talking, like if I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and the waiter comes in and he pours a glass, but I'm talking passionately about something, I'm not going to be like thank you. And then
why not?
I could do that. He's not expecting it.
How do you know that? I overthink them.
You think?
I don't know. He's pouring water.
He's pouring water. He walks away. Oh, that redheaded bearded guy didn't say thank you in his meal.
The redheaded bearded guy didn't even acknowledge that I existed. That's what I'm wondering.
When they're listen, the waiters know this. They know you're not there for them.
Who are you there for?
You're there with if you're there with friends and you're having a conversation,
to converse with your friends,
and you're there for a meal. You're not there for them. They're not looking for they're looking for a tip. That's what they're looking for.
So you think they'd be fine if you ignore them the whole time, but then tip them huge at the end?
I mean, I'm not saying like you don't look them in the eye and just pretend that they're not there. But if you're in the middle of a conversation, because I don't say it all the time, but I do if there's a pause and they're doing it, then I make sure I do. But if I'm in the middle of talking, or if somebody's in the middle of talking to me, and it just doesn't make sense, or if somebody because sometimes you'll say thank you, I won't say thank you.
Right.
They don't need 10 thank yous. And then
are you conserving your thank yous?
How many times are they going to fill up that glass, and do I have to thank them every single time?
I think so. I don't know.
No, you don't. I mean, throw it out like sincerely. I mean, maybe you're parched and you really needed that water. It's like, thank you. But otherwise, it's like because some places, and I'm trying to think of the best example of this. Some places you go, you sit down, you have your water, you take a sip. They're like literally there, and they fill up that sip, and then
I love it because I chug water.
Your water never gets below like
halfway,
7/8.
Yeah,
it's like you've literally had a sip and they've already filled it back up, and it's like the guy's sitting over in the corner just waiting. He's
eagle-eyed.
So like 30 times during your meal, because some places you go and it feels like they fill up your cup like a billion times.
Well, but on the other side, sometimes they don't come back, and you're like, oh, yeah.
That's when they do it. Just then you're like, thank you. That's when you do that.
So you think if you are at a good place to pause the conversation, you can acknowledge and say thank you.
Sure,
but if not,
you could. I mean, I guess you could nod to them. You'd be like, do the gesture. You're not talking. You could mouth it.
I could wink.
Yeah, no, do a wink. Yeah.
Or do one of your clicks.
Yeah, do a click. Why not?
Well, I'm in the middle of a conversation.
They're not looking for. And maybe I'm wrong because I worked in the restaurant field, but I was a busboy. I never refilled people's glasses.
Okay.
I wasn't competent enough apparently to ever do that part.
Graduate to that, yeah.
So I could only clear tables, but like I never remember anybody walking away being like, oh my goodness, table number 7. They won't acknowledge me while I put water in their glasses.
Yeah.
No, I don't think waiters and waitresses I don't think they want to, at the end of the day, they're hoping that you give them an appropriate tip, because a lot of times, they're counting on that part as opposed, don't give them thank yous, give them a tip.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's like, hey, I'm only giving you 17% on this meal because 3% of the other 3% were the thank yous I gave you when you filled up my water. See, and that's when you give the
clicks.
The clicks.
Interesting.
What, did something happen yesterday, or did it just were you like, thank you, thank you, thank you?
Yeah,
and you're like, Danny, you didn't say thank you.
No,
because you've done that to me before.
Oh, of course.
You've hit me. You're like, you didn't say thank you. Like, what?
I was raised with seriously like manner Nazi parents. Like, you said, please, thank you, I'm sorry, pardon me.
Well, no,
a million
I think that goes a long way. And I think because of that, we have two daughters that for the most part, when they go to restaurants.
Yes, they're very polite.
They are very polite. They when they order, they may I please have. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't come from me.
Really?
No, because I didn't go to restaurants enough as a kid to develop any sort of habits. It was just like, we'd go to again, I've said this before, we'd go to the Lee's Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
My dad would order a family dinner, 2 family dinners, because there were so many of us. And the food would come in and it'd just be like, you'd be eating it as fast as you can so you could get, your fill before somebody else got it.
Oh, my God.
Get that ham fried rice and the extra dumpling.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And if you were lucky, you got the tempura fried shrimp. Bam.
But if you were late to
If you were late, if you didn't grab that right away. I mean, I don't even remember if there were waiters at Lee's restaurant because I never said thank you to them.
Because there was 8 of you and it was like mayhem.
Yeah. It's like, where's the food? That's one of the great things about Chinese food is it's always typically pre-prepared.
Yeah.
At a time. Except for some of the fried stuff. Oh, yeah. Get that rice. The soup. The wonton soup. That's what that's called, right?
Yeah.
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 It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Do we? Should we? What was that?
It's your turn.
Oh,
You haven't done anything.
I don't. I've got notes here.
Oh, that you still can't.
Let me go through my notes. I'm sure I made a mistake. I wrote down college scandal, which you covered.
Oh.
I wrote down pot story, which was the one I couldn't remember, and then you covered it.
Oh God. We need to.
I covered. I have Sloan eating chocolate ice cream. We've covered that.
Yeah.
Check. And then I wrote Randy's new job.
Oh, what did you want to talk about?
I wanted to congratulate you. So I'm going to hit a check mark on that. Congratulations. You're leaving Alpha Media after 7.5 years.
7.5 years.
And should we talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about it.
So you're starting a new job next Monday. You took 0 time in between.
Would you have been cool if I did take time in between?
What do I care?
Well, because I pay for things for this house.
Okay, I might have cared when that happened.
Yeah, everybody was like, why do you take time off? I'm like, because I pay for things.
You went from one job to another. There's no gap.
I'm done Friday here, and then I go Monday to my new job.
And the new job is?
The company I'm working for is called Aptivada.
Yeah.
I don't say it correctly, though.
No, I was just going to say, you're going to have to change.
Creighton says Optivada.
And he's the co-founder.
Yes. There's 2, obviously, co-founders.
Right.
And
so Optivada?
Optivada, I believe. Right. You know what? Maybe by next week I'll get the correct.
Maybe your first mission is to get them to pronounce it the way we say it.
Yes, but the way everyone else says it. But
I don't want to change.
But Creighton has told me that there's like a big story. He's like, I'm going to tell you the whole story of how this all came to be. So I think there's some sort of meaningful story on the whys.
Yeah, but it would require me to have to change the way I pronounce it.
Right.
You know, when you learn to pronounce something and it's wrong, but that's the way it feels good.
Lori Loughlin.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you fight against it, and you're just like, nah, I'm just not gonna. I'm not. It's it's kind of like in Utah, where I hail from. The way we pronounce Zion.
Yeah.
Is Zion.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the most of the United States actually pronounce it Zion.
Zion. Mm-hmm.
And that to me is bizarre and should not be tolerated.
Or they also say hurricane, and you guys say
okay.
Hurricane.
No. Put that in the right context. There is a town called Hurricane.
Yeah.
It's a town called Hurricane. For some reason, it's spelled like hurricane. They pronounce it hurricane. But never, ever are you going to be like, hey, guys, did you hear about that hurricane down there in Florida?
I cannot say that. I'll never hear that.
You might hear somebody from my family say that one. But for the most part, you will not hear people pronounce hurricane because of the town Hurricane. I don't get it. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but here in Portland, we have the small town of Aloha, which is spelled Aloha.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cooch Street, which is spelled couch.
Couch.
Yeah. So, I mean, it happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
But yeah, so I'll find out what the scoop is on that.
Find out what the scoop is, and then just be like, that's great.
That's part of my first day on the job.
We're going to call this Aptivada. I mean, maybe this isn't a conversation to have on the podcast, but
I'll let him know.
We've sidetracked. So I think you, as their head of marketing, you've got something really, really.
I'm gonna come out of the gates with that.
It's going to be. I think
life-changing for them.
Life-changing, but I think you also have a battle ahead of you. That's all. So good luck on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way. No. You are really excited about it.
I'm so excited.
You're so excited about it. For me, as your partner.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call you a partner in crime because that's the one part I left off. You know, Felicity Huffman, in majority of the pictures of her and her husband on Instagram, when she refers to William H. Macy,
it's her partner in crime.
I love my partner in crime. She's like,
literally.
Like, literally now, because he wasn't indicted. But no, for me, it's just I couldn't ask for a better role model for our daughters.
Oh, don't! I'm gonna cry.
No, but I'm serious about this.
Well,
it is. I think it's important, and I think in today's world, it's so important for them to have a strong female example, and they've got a lot of them around them.
They do.
They've got a ton of them. But for one of the coolest one to be their own mother, this is huge.
Thank you.
This is huge. So
thank you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, well, thank you.
Yep.
I think it's going to be really good. I know it is. Yeah. Yeah. Or are you excited too? Or is that like a weird thing to ask?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Is there like what's the word? Like not osmosis, but just in.
There's
as an accessory to the excitement.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah. I know. You know, they sent me some swag with the logo, and the girls were like, "Oh, we want some."
Yeah.
And so, I'll have to get them some.
Okay, they want some. Yet Sloan, and this goes back to the previous episode where Sloan was already complaining that we don't have jobs that give her her cool perks.
Yeah.
Yet they do want those. How do I pronounce it? Optivada water bottles and T-shirts.
Yeah.
And the zip up is pretty nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing I was going to say is I love our children dearly, obviously, right? That's a given. Do you ever, when they come home with these stories where they're like, have I got a story for you?
Oh, every day Quinn is like, I got to spill some tea.
Yeah. I got tea, sis.
Yeah.
I love them. But these stories are extremely detailed, winding. I sit there and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish you would stop talking. I love you. I want to spend time with you.
What?
Get to the point. And lately I feel my patience like the other day I was driving Quinn to school and she's telling me this story and it's all over the place. And I just wanted the story to be over, but I wanted to keep spending time with her.
Right.
That's where I find myself these days.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be like, stop talking, but I want to hang out with you. I love you, and I want to have conversations with you, but this story is going to kill me.
What I've noticed happening is if they have a story that is like, could be said, I went to the store and I saw John.
Yeah.
I went to the store. It was a Monday. The sunny, it was really cloudy that day. And then I got a phone call from my friend Jeremy. And Jeremy was like, did you hear that John is around? Anyway, so I went to the store, and on the way to the store, I saw 3 cars. There was a Volkswagen, there was an Audi.
And one had a dog in it.
Yeah. And there's like a billion things that are kind of attached to the story.
Is that my fault?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my mom does that.
Yeah.
My mom.
You do that.
Okay, then it's genetic.
No,
my mom can draw a 2-minute story out for 45 minutes.
Both girls tell stories the way mom tells stories. Is you don't just be like, hey, I went to the store and I saw John.
I give the periphery. I give the entire atmosphere.
Yeah. And on the way to the store, I stopped and had a drink, and I said thank you to the waiter as he filled up my glass.
Well, I believe that's the proper etiquette.
Yeah, no, I think every parent finds themselves in that thing where like you're enjoying that bonding time.
Yeah.
But you're having a hard time connecting to the material.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's what you're not connecting to the material.
Yeah.
Because Quinn, she's 13 years old. She's in 8th grade. Everything is high drama.
Right.
So she was telling me something the other day and was talking about 1,000,000 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to keep up with it. And then I realize, I'm like, I don't actually need to process 90% of this because it has nothing to do with the actual story.
Okay.
And then, but it's just like, okay. I mean, I'm glad that both girls feel like they can talk to us about it.
Totally. And that's why I keep my mouth shut. I'm like, they feel comfortable telling us.
Just this morning, Sloan was asking me if she could create a Sinsta, which for those that don't know, it's a second Instagram account.
Yeah.
And because Quinn has a Sinsta.
Yeah.
And
she never asked permission.
But she did it, and she told us about it.
Okay.
And we both follow her.
Yes.
What I think is the reasoning the reasoning for a real Sinsta for the school kids is a secondary Instagram account that your parents don't know about.
Yeah.
Our kids, for whatever reason, they're like, hey, I have a second account. Here it is.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, that was one of the stories on the way to school with Quinn. I said, why did you post, and it was on her Sinsta, there is a video that's probably 30 seconds long of her fumbling for her phone at the dance competition on Sunday.
Right.
You don't see anyone. You just see...
That's hilarious to them.
And I was like, what is... And she's like, isn't it funny? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's not whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Yeah.
That's what the Insta's for. If you don't want that material, don't follow her Insta. Follow her regular account where you get stuff pretty much like that too. You
get selfies.
I don't understand.
Sloan's, you get a lot of duck lips.
A lot of duck lips and pictures of Roscoe. And then sometimes Roscoe and Sloan doing duck lips.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why, because she was like, can I have a Insta? And I'm like, no. And I said,
oh, okay.
I said, you barely use your Instagram, your regular one as it is. Why? You don't need another one. She's like, okay.
And she has a Roscoe and Sloan account, and then there's a Roscoe account.
And then she has a Roscoe account.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm apparently the only one that currently has access to it.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah. Don't get a Sinsta. That's the big takeaway of my advice.
I would love to pull them off of all social media.
I'm down with that.
I know. It's hard now. I mean, they're so connected. And and like the dance studio communicates with them through social media.
Yeah, I know.
So a lot, and I think a lot of probably organizations do.
Right. So I think for the most part, like Sloan was telling me that she lately has had a lot of people requesting her, but the rule is you do not accept anybody you don't personally know. Mm-hmm. It can't be a friend of a friend. You have to know them.
Yeah.
So that's kept us pretty safe.
Yeah. The only thing that they're on that I'm not 100% like in the know on is TikTok.
TikTok. Mm-hmm. Formerly known as Musical.ly.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And the other day I saw someone trying to request Sloan and I'm like, who is that? And she's like, I don't know. I'm not going to accept it. And I'm like, okay.
Well, that's good.
But still, it's just a bunch of randoms.
Well, I set up my own TikTok.
Oh, you have TikTok?
I do.
You use it?
I have done nothing on it.
Oh.
But I did it so I could follow them, but I should probably go check.
Yeah. See what they're doing.
Yep. Part of the show where you tell me what I've done wrong this week. And earlier this week you actually told a few people, actually over the weekend, you're like, I already have my thing for this week, so it's better be a good one.
Well, I think it's a good one.
Well,
so
we'll see.
You have done this for a long time, and I believe we've had conversations. You always deny it. But you have to remember, it's funny to me the things that you deny because I've known you for 16 years.
Right.
Dang.
Close to 17.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm no dummy. Okay?
All right.
So sometimes you need to own things. All right.
The build-up, the anticipation is killing me.
Here's what you do.
What did I do? Oh, okay. So this is just something I've done.
You did this week.
I did it this week, and I've done it for 16 years.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes. In different. Okay, let me just tell you. So Saturday night or Friday night, I can't remember. We were waiting for somebody to come over late, and we were laying in bed and watching TV.
Yeah.
But at some point, you decide to pretend sleep so that you don't have to deal with them when they come over, and then it's left on me. And I know this, and I knew you were pretend sleeping, but I was gonna let it go. Except that once they came, they left. I go crawl back into bed. You roll over, grab the remote, and turn the TV off. And I went, "Oh, it's a miracle! You're awake." And you were like, "I've been awake this whole time." And I'm like, "Oh no, you've been doing your pretend sleep so you didn't have to deal with them." You have always done that. If there is a large group of people at our house and you've decided that you're done, you will go retreat to the bedroom and fake nap. And this is something you come by honestly, not to throw all of your brothers under the bus, but they have been known. I have watched them do it too.
Listen.
It's not fair.
Okay. I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
First of all, if I'm in my own house,
you're going to fake sleep as much as you want?
I can do whatever the hell I want. If I'm ready to, because lying in bed alone is a restful act. So I don't have to be sleeping to be resting. Second of all, if you're going to point out what happened this past weekend, we had a friend's daughter staying at our house.
Yeah. I wasn't going to get into yes.
But I need to point it out. Okay. She's a 17-year-old girl. 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah. So you're uncomfortable.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to be the one that's getting her checked in. You have a closer relationship with her.
Right, that's true.
And I don't know, maybe it's an abundance of caution. I just want to make sure she feels as comfortable as possible staying in our house.
So you're going to fake sleep.
So I'm going to, were both of us supposed to go out there and make sure she could walk down the stairs and turn right into the guest bedroom?
But you could have been like, is there anything you need me to do?
So that would have been for you, not for her.
Oh, it's for sure for me. It's always for me.
Let me ask you this. Is there anything I could have done other than have been awake? Or
yes. As soon as she got downstairs and was all settled and done, you could have gone through the house and made sure everything was closed up.
I did do that. I went and turned on the alarm. Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yes.
All right. No, I just get sick and tired of your retreating and your fake sleeping. You do it all the time.
Again, it's not. I'm not intentionally fake sleeping. I was trying to go to sleep. I didn't think that my presence A was necessary. B,
I thought it was necessary.
Okay.
But do you notice when you do that? Like I said, if there's a group of people over or something, all of a sudden you're missing.
I don't do it if, like, say, because we never do this. The only time that happens is if we have a group of people over and they're there for an extended period of time.
So then I'm left to host.
They're your family, because we know they're not my family.
Okay.
We're talking specifically about your family, your side of the family. We're all family.
Right. My side of the family.
I love your family like my family, but it's your blood, not my blood.
So that's the rule, that if I have family over,
don't even if my family ever visited us,
I would go hide and retreat?
Absolutely, you would, if you even showed up.
No. When have I done that?
When has that ever happened? My family visited. Never. So
can't. When we lived in Salt Lake, when did I ever go hide in the bedroom like you do?
They never stayed for extended periods of time. So this is apples and oranges.
I just don't think I don't think I would do it.
Absolutely, you would.
All right.
Absolutely, you would.
So that's the rule. If I have family over, you're allowed to go retreat and go missing.
Furthermore, let the record show there have been times where, like, I've just.
Where you're going down somewhere you don't want to go? There have been times where I've
purposely said, you just don't even go. I'm going to go visit my family. I've just left you out of it.
Rarely.
Yeah, but I did it.
But it's been like weird, funky situation, like scenarios.
Scenario's a scenario.
And I mean, like, I can think of no. I can think of one time when we flew in, like in 2012, and I was getting my hair done, and you were like, "Hey, while you're getting your hair done, I'm gonna go run down to this thing with my family." And I was like, "Okay." It wasn't that It wasn't that you went. I'd like to go see the family, and then I went. Okay. I'm gonna go get my hair done.
So you're telling me if we were to go visit my family and I gave you the option of not going to go visit my family, that you would not take that?
It depends on what's going on.
No, I think
if you're like, oh, it's a funeral at a church, then I'm going to be like, that's debatable. But if it's like, hey, everybody's getting together and going swimming at Jerry and Katie's,
let me just bring this back to the point. When
God knows who listens to this. FYI.
I know. I love you. I love everybody. But when you're Randy's family and you come to my house for an extended period of time, and
you're comfortable, so just like
you're there for a couple of nights or even just one night. It's not where you're coming for 2 hours, because we've never hosted my family
for longer than that.
So when you come to our house and you're there for a long time and you're just hanging out in the front room watching HGTV, don't be offended if I go take a nap.
Okay.
There's nothing of it. It's my own house. I want to be comfortable. I can't lay on the couch like I would normally do.
I know, but I just feel like then I'm left being the hostess with the mostest, and I'm like, okay, I've got to like.
That's the burden of
having your own family
of
over.
Having your own family over.
Okay, maybe it is. I don't know.
Because I would not retreat if it were my family. I wouldn't do it.
But you would allow me to. You'd be okay.
I absolutely would.
You'd be like, go hang out in the bedroom.
I would encourage it.
You would be like totally fine with it if I left you to just host and be.
Absolutely.
Really?
If they were there for an extended period of time,
and I was like, I'm gonna go just hang out in my bedroom by myself.
And I'd be like, leave. Why don't go get a pedicure?
Move to Idaho.
Right?
You would?
Yes.
Huh? I guess you're right. Like, we haven't ever had it, so we don't know.
No, you don't know what it's like for me.
My whole family does listen to this podcast.
They do, and I love you all guys a lot, and I hope you come visit. Just don't be offended when I go to the bedroom. And I won't go to the bedroom.
Go missing.
I don't go to the bedroom like right away. And it's not like you walk in the door and I'm out. It's normally 3 or 4 hours in, or maybe after the first night.
Are you overwhelmed?
And then there's just the sitting around that's happening, and
you're not.
Nobody's doing anything.
What do you want to do?
Well, when nobody's doing anything, I would like to lay down and sleep.
You don't want to do anything
I don't
want
to converse. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be super mellow, and I can't do that comfortably. So I go to the bedroom.
So when you and my dad are home by yourselves together, you both go nap?
I will nap in front of your dad, and your dad will nap in front of me. Now that's like golden.
All right.